Since 1998, First Presbyterian members and guests have trekked every year into the heart of Honduras to bring connection, healing, and the gospel to the people of Arica. This annual one-week trip is the longest sustained outreach among our church's many missions, except possibly for our day school partnership.
Over the past quarter century, scores of our church families have been impacted. Well over 100 distinct families have participated. Honduras has helped shape and define our church's spirit, values, and future.
Carlin compiled these stories after having conversations with 4 previous participants. Even though Carlin had been a longtime member of the church, he didn't realize just how meaningful these experiences were. We've already heard from Ruann Porter and Kyle Brinkman, and shortly we're going to hear from Ivy Lapido and Catherine Maddox. If those names sound familiar, Catherine is the daughter of Martha and Carlin, and Ivy is the daughter of April and Brad Husung.
I've gone at least 10 times since 2000. My biggest surprise has been to see the impact of what we've done. It didn't seem like much at the time, but it's wonderful to see the growth of the people and the country.
It was so fulfilling to be there in 2019. It's magical in a way. I helped pass out reading glasses to the clinic's adults. My Spanish is extremely limited, but I was truly surprised to see their faces light up when the clients discovered they could now read. Their smiles were worth 1,000 words.
Catherine Maddox wrote, I was 17 between my junior and senior years of high school when I went to Honduras in 1998 with neither of my parents. I loved working on my Spanish and working with the kids there. Catherine went on to say, it was fun to learn about their culture, which was so different from what I was used to. Time is a completely different concept in a country like Honduras.
I was one of the youngest on the trip when I went back in 2007. I was around 14 and still in middle school. In fact, I have been multiple times to Honduras. My eyes really opened when I saw other kids my age who lived a very different life than mine. I spoke Spanish a bit, but we were able to connect in so many fun and exciting ways. And looking back, these were quite meaningful ways. We were far more alike than I thought we would be. And since then, I've been on several mission trips throughout my life with other groups, and the Honduras trips are among my favorite.
Early on, we helped build a church with a pastor. That first year, it had 19 members. The next year, there were at least 119 members with weddings and baptisms. We saw wonderful things happening there, and terrible things. For instance, we saw kids hanging around a school but unable to attend because they couldn't afford a uniform. Our youth came up with the idea and then raised enough money between themselves to buy 30 uniforms. FPC joined in and subsequently bought another 300 uniforms. Even though my Spanish is limited, I've been able to build so many friendships over the years.
As I think back on those trips, my memory is a bit foggy, but I am convinced they helped lay the foundation to what I feel called to do today, and that is advocacy and social justice both nationally and internationally. Those trips helped show me the way that I wanted and felt called to serve God. So after graduating from Princeton Theological Seminary back in 2019, I worked as a Presbyterian Church USA mission associate for 5 years with the Presbyterian Ministry at the United Nations. I still live in New York City, but I am now a mission associate at the Presbyterian Church USA Office of Public Witness in Washington, D.C. And while doing this, I am also working on my ordination.
Catherine Maddox shared, looking back, that trip had an influence on the direction of my life in so many ways. Catherine is now in her early 40s. She wrote, for one thing, after high school I decided to do a gap year before attending college and spent 6 months in Panama with a family, being a children's aide in a local hospital. It really helped my Spanish to go deeper into the Latin culture. She also said it influenced her decision to be a foster care caseworker and subsequently a foster parent. Catherine now lives in the D.C. area working for the federal government's Administration for Children and Families, an agency of the Department of Health and Human Services. She finished by saying, it was also a wonderful intergenerational experience for me, making friends with adults like Susan Schlecht and Chris Agee. Afterwards, they kept up with me in ways I never would have imagined.
As I said, I have been on a number of mission trips, And most of these mission trips happened when I was in college with other groups. And some of the times it made me feel rather uncomfortable with what we were doing. And now being with the National Church, the Peace USA National Church, I've just seen the importance of how we need to be very careful on how we do mission trips. First Presbyterian's trips to Honduras taught me the right and beneficial way to do them. And looking back, they helped show me a way to learn about God, about myself, and about the church worldwide. These trips gave me a space at a young age to do that.
For over 25 years, 100 families have helped forge a deep connection between First Presbyterian Church and the ministry of the New Hope Clinic in Orica, Honduras. We hope you will consider participating in this vital, life-changing work.